So we haven't said much about painting in any of our videos. We've got a couple out there, but let me tell you, we paint everything that we build, and there's several reasons. It saves us money, and it also keeps us on time with our schedule, because at any point, we're the painters. We can go in and start painting the day the drywall's hung, or in this case, the day that the siding is put up. The same day, we're on the scaffolding that we put the siding up with. It's already here. Why would we not take a paintbrush and a roller and paint this siding when we already have the scaffolding right here? It's already set up and ready. That's why we do it. It actually saves money and time.
100 houses.
Yep. Guess who painted them? And Jamie, but me a lot. So I have become very, very good and very fast at edging with this paintbrush in corners of drywall, on trim, up against soffit, on siding. That's what I'm going to show you today. So to be a master painter, you have to be able to edge very delicately and perfectly with no blue tape, because blue tape takes as much time as the actual painting. I hate blue tape, and sometimes it takes the paint off when you peel it, so I don't like it. I always edge by hand. I'm going to show you how to do that. So here's the deal. To edge, you have to get the right amount of paint on the right part of the brush. Let me say that again. The right amount of paint on the right part of the brush, okay? So I'm going to show you how to do that, and then to get that paint off your brush on the wall is also key. I'll show you how to do that as well. To help you guys out, I'm going to use rhyming, like rhyming words together. It'll help you remember how to do this. So what we're going to do is dip, wipe, dab, swipe. Dip, wipe, dab, swipe, drag. Okay, drag is if you need to, but always dip, wipe, dab, swipe.
What'd you call me? Dude, we're doing a video about painting.
Dip, wipe.
Reset.
All right, first, let's talk about the paintbrush. This is a Wooster. It's about a $20 paintbrush. It's a pretty good paintbrush. You cannot paint good with a $2 paintbrush. I like Wooster. I like Purdy, like the brand Purdy. No, that's a real brand, actually. So that's a good paintbrush. It's got a slightly tapered edge, if you can see, and that's good for cutting in. And we've taken care of it. This is a super, super old paintbrush, actually, but we've brushed it out and kept it nice and slick and got all the paint out of it every time we've used it. So let's start with the dip, wipe. Okay, here we go. I'm going to dip into here only about 3/4 of an inch. See that? That's all you need. Okay, don't dip it all the way in up to the handle. That's a huge mistake. Okay, second, wipe. You need to get the paint off of one side of the paintbrush. You don't need paint on both sides of the paintbrush to edge. Super important. Okay, so I'm going to think about which side I need. I'm going to wipe the paint off of the other side. Ready? Wipe. Now look at that. I got paint on one side, not much on the other. Okay, that was the dip and the wipe. All right, we're back up. I've dipped and wiped. I've thought ahead about what side of the paintbrush I want the paint on. That's important. And now I'm going to dab and swipe. We're going to edge in next to this beautiful black soffit, and I don't want to get paint on it because that's going to be a huge mess. So what I'm going to do is dab below the edge, okay, or below the corner of your drywall to get more of this paint off the side you have the paint on, and then I go in and cut. This is called the swipe, and you can see that I had the perfect amount of paint on the right part of the brush to get that in the corner without a huge bead of paint beating up and getting all over the surface here where I don't want the paint. Okay, now we're going to do the drag, which is important in some cases, so you don't have clumps along the bottom like this. So I did the dip, wipe, dab, swipe, and now I'm just going to drag like this just to smooth this stuff out at the bottom so you don't have blobs that'll run later. That's super important as well. And we're going to, of course, fill that all the way in, but you don't want to leave paint just sitting heavy. It'll run and start to dry and start to look really nasty pretty quick. This will not help you in any way. I gotta clean this thing now. We're gonna get in close here and do another dab swipe, okay? Here we go. Dab below the corner or the edge that you're edging to. Get more of the paint off the side you had the paint on, okay? And you've got it stocked up right here. And now you're gonna cut in. You're gonna actually fan the bristles up. See how I'm pressing right here? so that the bristles actually curve up towards the corner, in this case the soffit, so that I can actually see what's going on and they make a sharp edge. I'm pressing and I'm swiping and I'm getting it perfectly in there without getting it on the soffit. You see that? And then I'm gonna drag this loose bit down. Sometimes I'll even do a jiggle, which is like this, and it'll help work that paint into like little bits of rough area or grooves if there's any. And so as I'm swiping, I'm jiggling, okay? That's the pro move, the jiggle.
That doesn't rhyme.
Oh, it doesn't rhyme.
I'm probably not going to remember that part because it doesn't rhyme.
You're right. I'll have to wiggle. No, that doesn't rhyme either.
We got to find something else that rhymes with jiggle.
We're going to talk about the actual point at which your brush travels along this, where the paint is coming off. And a lot of times people will try to edge with the whole side of the brush like this, and you can do that. But if you really want to get fine for like trim work, you want just this point of the brush to be up and traveling along the edge so that you have less of a chance of getting the paint somewhere you don't want it to be. See how I'm doing that right there? Instead of the whole side of the brush, just the tip of the brush is traveling along the edge. So that's a pro move if you need to get in for some really detailed work. Once you get good, you may be able to use the whole edge of the brush, but remember that tip right there is where you get your really fine-tuned line. Now that I've shown you the edging, this is how we roll right here. All right, closing thoughts. You might be thinking, why don't I just spray this with a paint sprayer? Why don't I just spray all this siding? Well, it's because I would take more time masking this beautiful black soffit and fascia than it would take me to just roll it to start with. So we do have several paint sprayers, really good ones actually, but in a case like this, we're not going to use it because it's not worth the time to mask or the risk if something goes wrong and we spray this beautiful black soffit with a bunch of gray paint. Bad news. Lights out, game over, you're done. All right, now you got me going on spraying. So be careful spraying outside. Have you ever heard of a lawsuit from overspray where you're spraying and the paint drifts somewhere else and lands on someone's Lamborghini and paints it gray? Well, that hasn't happened to us, but it has happened to Jamie's truck because he parked it while we were spraying and it's windy, close enough to where these little sprockles got on his hood.
Sprockles?
Sprockles.
What's a sprockle?
Sprinkles of sprockles. And his truck had all these different colors that it wasn't. Okay, it was a gray and a blue truck, but it was all kinds of colors from paint drifting from the sprayer. So paint sprayers, especially in a setting where there's any vehicles or any wind, can get you in trouble. My friend, be careful.